Namaskar. Welcome to Government e-Marketplace. In this module, we will take a look at why and when to apply for a GeM buyer ID. Primary users are instructed to register on GeM and subsequently add secondary users for procurement through the GeM portal and also to monitor procurements. As per the GeM terms and conditions, it is mandatory to have an nic.in or gov.in domain email ID. In case if any of the users, primary user, buyer, consignee, PAO, DDO, competent authority do not have the same, they can apply for a GeM buyer ID. The primary user of the organization may apply for the GeM buyer ID with the approval of the competent authority. For the officers who are going to register as secondary user, they can get their GeM buyer ID if the primary user applies on their behalf. There are two different methods to apply for the GeM buyer ID. 1. For the primary user, it can be done by sending an email to gemapplicant@gem.gov.in. 2. Whereas for the secondary user, the primary user can apply for the GeM buyer ID after logging into his or her primary user account. Let's take a look at the steps to get a GeM buyer email ID. Organizations using NIC-hosted email services, that is, email IDs ending with @gov.in or @nic.in or any other NIC-hosted email domain are not required to obtain @gembuyer.in email addresses. The primary user can register using his or her email address on GeM portal. In case an organization operates its organization email services which is not on NIC, the following options are available. 1. Organizations can migrate their email service to NIC by sending a migration request to support@gov.in with the required details, to which the NIC team will respond with the process to be followed. 2. Alternatively, the designated verifying authority from the organization can apply for @gembuyer.in email ID for themselves as well as HOD by sending an email to gemapplicant@gem.gov.in from their official email ID. The details required from the verifying authority should be mentioned on the official letterhead, duly signed and stamped, and a scanned copy of the same should be sent from their official email ID. Now let's take a look at the steps to activate a GeM buyer ID. 1. Visit the website www.email.gov.in. 2. To activate the email ID and change the password, click on Forgot or Change Password or Activate ID link on the home page. 3. Enter the @gembuyer.in email ID into the Pass app login page as the login ID and then enter the CAPTCHA provided. 4. An SMS alert will be sent to the user's linked mobile number. They will have to enter and re-enter the password as well as the CAPTCHA to change the password. 5. Then they can log in using their email address and the new password. Open the GeM website, that is gem.gov.in. In order to register the primary user, click on the Sign Up link and then on the Buyers link from the drop-down list. After going through the prerequisites, click on the Review Terms and Conditions button. Please go through the terms and conditions and then click on the checkbox at the bottom of the page. Enter the Aadhaar number as well as the Aadhaar-linked mobile number of the primary user. Then click on the Verify Aadhaar button to receive an OTP as well as to verify the Aadhaar details. After Aadhaar verification, the primary user may select the organization hierarchy and then proceed to the process of email ID verification. If the user does not have an NIC registered email ID, they can contact GeM and apply for at gembuyer.in email ID by clicking on the Click Here link on the page. The user may go through the rules and guidelines mentioned in the document. Let's take a look at the steps to be followed for applying GeM Buyer ID from the primary user's GeM account. After logging into the primary user's GeM account, click on the user's link on the top right side of the page. Click on the Create GeM Buyer Email ID button to request for GeM Buyer ID for secondary user. Enter the details of the secondary user and then click on the Submit button. The IDs may be created on the basis of the roles. Clicking on the User List link on the top of the page displays the GeM Buyer ID requests given earlier. Scrolling to the right side of the page shows the current status of the requests given. Thank you.